Good evening. Welcome to another edition of the 411 Talk Zone radio show, Red Pill Edition. My name is Leon Jones. And in this segment, I'm going to give you a part 2 of the previous video I did on Christian women. So, part 2 of this video is going to be today's Christian women have been indoctrinated by this modern culture. In parentheses, sin. Now, why do I say that? Well, with today's culture, there are a lot of influences. Influences when it comes to women, family members, other women who are bitter, media, religion, education, government, and of course, private sector jobs. Now, before I continue, and you're going to hear it again before the video concludes, I am not talking about all Christian women, but I have to go in on the modern day, particularly middle-aged women, because it's the middle-aged women who are late baby boomers and Gen Xers who are indoctrinated exponentially with this feminist mindset. Now, a number of modern day women, particularly ones who are African American, tell you how much they believe in God. They love to tote the Bible, they love to quote Bible scriptures, and they love to tell you as a man or as a non-Bible believing person or non-Christian about you and what you're doing. But one must understand that Christian women, regardless of race, but I'm hitting on the African American women because they're more religious than a number of other women, and I'm talking about modern day women right here in the West. But these women want to tell you about how bad you're doing, what you should be doing. But many women who are part of religions, and you could look at feminism, that's a religion. Religion is something that is used to control the masses. Well, what has feminism done? Feminism, Marxism, it's controlling the thinking of the majority of women here in the West. These women who are Christian believe that they can have an opinion. Everybody has an opinion, just like everybody has an ass. But just like an ass, all sizes of opinions or credibility of opinions is different. But when you have this Christian woman, you must understand what her true beliefs are. Now, I know in the African American community, this Christian woman and this pastor are linked together. Why? Because this pastor gets his resources from this modern day black woman. Now, there is no other man, maybe besides some white guys out there, that disrespect black women more than this black pastor, and we all know it. People like me are not afraid to call it out. Shout out to my boy Matt Coley, he'll call it out. Shout out to Sean James, David Carroll, Red Supreme, Minister Jack, they'll call it out. But at the end of the day, when it comes to dating Christian women, from my point of view, most of them are very dangerous. Why are they dangerous? Because they hide under church. It's like a mask. Once you take that mask off of these modern day Christian women, you're going to find them to be feminists. You're going to find them to believe in lesbianism. You're going to find them to believe in Wiccanism, paganism, tarot cards, all under the guise of religion. And that's not believing in God, that's witchcraft. You have a number of these Christian women out here who only believe in the pastor. And what does the Bible say? Never elevate a human being above God. But a number of Christian women do not believe in God. Because if they did believe in God, they would believe in a hierarchy, God, man, woman, and child. They would be more pleasant. In fact, as they get older, they seem to get into church. But what they don't understand is the mistakes that they made when they were younger will come back to haunt you. I don't care what you say about repenting your sins. When you sleep with a bunch of guys and have children by a bunch of guys, and you come from a bad environment, yes, you can change your ways. However, the situation is always going to be with you. That's the same way as if I murdered somebody. I can change after I murdered somebody, but guess what? In the eyes of public opinion, I'm still a murderer, which is true. And the decision I made to murder somebody was my decision. And it was my decision based on emotion. But when it comes to this Christian woman, she's very difficult to date, especially when they get older. A number of these older women, regardless of race, don't want to change who they are. They believe that it's perfectly acceptable to run around being loud, being obnoxious, speaking like children, shaming you. It's very, very prevalent that a number of these Christian women are not respectful. Certainly they go to church every Sunday. They pay their tithes. But at the end of the day, the man that they believe in is that man standing behind the pulpit, the pimp. And if you ever know in the black community where the dysfunction is, it's not just around the church, it's in the church. The church is a haven for dysfunction. And this black pastor believes in that dysfunction. Now, a subscriber of mine showed me something that was very, very surprising. But in the back of my mind, I knew it. Some of these churches, when you look on their website, you can now donate via Cash App. Now, as a man, I'm not giving any of my money to the church because I don't believe in church. I believe in God, but I don't believe in church. Again, the Bible says you must assemble. Doesn't say anything about going to church. Now, why am I hitting hard on the Christian woman? I'm hitting hard on the Christian woman because the Christian woman is a hypocrite. They tell you how much they love family, but you have a number of Christian women who are living with their ex. You have a number of them who are separated. They're out here looking for men, and they haven't even gotten out of their prior marriage. They're telling you, well, I don't sleep with a man until I'm married, but yet you are still married, sleeping in the same bed with that man you're still attached to. But you're going to tell me I have to wait till I marry you in order to make love to you. Bullshit. That's hypocrisy. You have a number of these church women out here who are basically fashionistas. They go to church for the fashion. They go to church to hear the pastor speak. They go to church because it makes them feel good. But at the end of the day, church is nothing more than a modern day club. You pay your tithes. If you're lucky, particularly if it's on a hot day, you can sit in the front of the church and get mesmerized by the pastor bullshitting you all day, telling you God is going to find you a husband. Which you know God is not going to find you a husband, especially if you have been a woman and you run around monkey branching, riding a cock carousel, fucking every Tom, Dick, and Harry, and you're even involved in lesbian sex. Now again, this is all across the board. Now again, I am not criticizing every woman who is a Christian, but the majority of them I am, because they are hiding under Christianity, trying to be good girls, when the Christian women are some of the worst succubi out there, because some of them are practicing witchcraft. Now, for the black women, they're hiding under black Christianity. Some of these white women are hiding under Wiccanism and paganism, tarot cards. But either way, religion is man-made and religion is a cult. See, if you really believe in God, your life would be a lot better. Because faith is something that's practiced. You ever heard of that old saying, practice what you preach? Well, that's what a number of these Christian women do. And when I'm talking about Christian women, again, I'm talking about modern Christian women. Because what they believe in is that church is going to save their lives. Church is not going to save your life. The only thing that can save your life is by you smelling the rose at the truth. You see, the old song always says this: I beg your pardon, I never promised you a rose garden. And see, when you get caught up in deception and you live deception, you practice that sin. And when I mean sin, we all sin. But many church members, they like to judge people who aren't like them, but church members are the biggest sinners. In fact, when it comes to men, and I'm going to jump off topic a little bit, you don't have a lot of strong men who go to church. The only strong man that you see in church, you see the pastor and some of the clergy. And there are a number of these pastors out here who use their congregation for sex, use their congregation for money. And if you are a Christian, particularly a black Christian, and you talk about God, here's what I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you, okay, many individuals who go to church are black women. Not a voting record of black women. I'm going to jump into politics because this is where I'm going to expose the hypocrisy. Most black women vote Democrat. And when you vote Democrat, you vote for all the socialist policies. You vote for homosexuality. And in the Bible, isn't homosexuality an abomination? But you make excuses for it. You vote for feminism. And when you vote for feminism, you're voting for an upside down culture that's dysfunctional because there's no order in it. And a number of you Christian sisters out there believe that you're the heads of the household. Not by being independent, but by the governmental policies that have been given to you to make it look like you're independent. Also, when you go to church, you really believe in that church, you should be more giving. See, a number of you sisters out there, and even the white sisters as well, you'll give to the preacher, who's not even part of your family, but you don't give to your family. You say you believe in marriage, but if you really believe in marriage, the divorce rate is 75%. And women initiate that high number of divorces. And they initiate the divorces because they really didn't love their husbands. They were there for the ride. And once they got tired of the ride, they wanted to leave. And they were given that opportunity to leave based on the policies. And when you date a number of these church women, if you don't have your game, and I don't really believe in game, I believe in being straight up. I come at a church woman like I come at a non-church woman. I'm not going to wine you and dine you, because you're not worth whining and dining. If that dude before me didn't wine you and dine you, and he bent you over, I'm going to do the same thing. Because you're that beat up car that we're going to test drive. You're nothing brand new. You see, the women who are brand new are the younger women. These are the ones we need to look out for. Because we don't want the younger generation to be like some of these old heads out here. These old heads fuck their lives up. And they're going to continue to fuck their lives up. And these older women who are involved in church, and I'm talking about between 30 and 60. Because women who were in my mom's generation who went to church, they weren't like the women who are my age. The women in my age group and below, right around 30, they're the ones who strongly believe in this education system. Education didn't teach them anything. So basically what a number of these Christian women did, they became Christians because they thought that God was going to produce some magic for them. God doesn't produce magic. What you have to do is make the right decisions when you're young. And see, a number of women today did not make the right decisions. You can see what's going on out here with all the different color hair. You have a number of African American women. If you date some of them, you might as well just go get a man because they act like men. They want to be men. But you have a number of women who are Christian and non-Christian. I'm going to put that in there as well. They want the benefits of a man, but they want men to give them the traditionalism of the 1950s. But if you're a man and you want something traditional, then they're going to tell you, oh, well, that's going back to the 1950s. But then you want me to treat you traditional like the 1950s? You see, this is what church has taught a number of these women. It's taught them to be disrespectful. But again, as a man, we got to call out that pastor. That pastor has created the dysfunction for the church, because if that pastor cared anything about his church, about his congregation, a number of these women would be straightened out. But again, that pastor is just a surrogate husband, a surrogate father. And the pastor, you have a number of them out there who betray their wives as well. Now, the Bible talks about betrayal. So what I'm really saying is, when you date a number of women who call themselves Christian, they're not really Christian. They don't believe in God. They act as if they believe in God. And if they truly believed in God, they would change their ways. But many of them believe that you should accept them for who they are and what they are, regardless. That's not the real world. And you have a number of Christian women out here who believe that they are on top of the world. A number of these Christian women are very narcissistic. They're very childish. They're very insecure. They believe anything that's told to them as long as it makes them feel good. A number of Christian women can't deal with the truth. In fact, if you go back to the African American church, they don't want you to talk about their pastor. But if you can see through rose-colored glasses, that pastor is a sinner. He's teaching you sin. That pastor is indoctrinating you as a woman. That pastor is being more disrespectful to you as a woman than I'm being disrespectful to you as a woman. Now, I know some of these women up here might thumb this video down, but this is red pill content. This is a male space, so who cares if you thumb it down? Because at the end of the day, if you are really a Christian, you're going to believe in principles. You're not going to be a hypocrite. But again, a number of Christian women are hypocrites. They think because they have God on their mind that they're married to God and that God should supply them with a husband. And that a number of them believe that their lifestyle that they decided to make for themselves is just like a lifestyle of a virgin. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, a number of them that have gone through the ringer have had their fun partying. Now they want to become reborn again virgins. And when they become reborn again virgins, they think that their fake virginity is like real virginity of a young woman. This is why a number of guys should marry younger women. Because a true Christian man, a man who's righteous, is going to teach his woman. He's not going to abuse his woman. And a number of these pastors are supposed to be counselors. They don't counsel the women of the church. And some of these older women, and I beat up on the older women, but some of these older women have tried to teach some of these women in my age bracket, but they don't want to listen. This is why you don't date them. And a number of these women out here who are in my age group, they're going to end up dating other women. Why? Because no man wants to date them. And this is across the board. Yeah, a guy's going to come around, get his dick sucked. He's going to use her as a human toilet and then go about his way. Because at the end of the day, all you are doing when you go to church, you're just faking the funk. You're putting on a show, and I can see right through it. It's a fashion show. You go in, you look feminine, but behind that mask, you are masculine. Your energy is negative. Certainly, that pastor tells you what you want to hear. He gets your money. That pastor takes his money to his home in a nice area, while he leaves you stuck in the ghetto, stuck in the trailer park, or even stuck in a suburban area that you can't afford. Because at the end of the day, when it comes to Christian women, they have this attitude that they know more about life than somebody who actually studies life. You see, you have to understand religion is about being spiritual. Religion is not science. But you also have to understand religion is also man-made. And many of the holidays that we as African Americans celebrate aren't our holidays. But you have a number of African American women who go right along with these holidays. And they don't even know what they are. Like I did a video on Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is about the slaughter of the Indians. But every holiday, a number of these African American women, they're home with their families, yucking it up, tearing up some turkey, some stuffing. Now, don't get me wrong. I eat it, but I don't consider myself a Christian, and I don't celebrate Thanksgiving. I don't celebrate Christmas. I don't celebrate Easter. I don't celebrate Valentine's Day. They're all pagan holidays. But when it comes to these Christian women, they believe that On Christmas, you got to give them a gift. They're at church. And you have some of them who don't go to church anytime during the year, except for Christmas and Thanksgiving. And then they're going to tell you they believe in God. See, it's not what you tell me, it's what you practice. Now, again, I'm going to stress it. I'm not talking about all pastors, and I'm not talking about all Christian women, because there are some good-hearted Christian women to whom I respect. But a number of them are hiding under the guise of religion. Religion is like a mask. Because I've talked to my fair share of Christian women, and they were absolutely nasty. Bad attitude, cursing like a sailor, didn't have any respect for themselves, didn't have any respect for men. You have a number of them who are misandrous. Again, you have a number of them who believe in lesbianism. Because if you vote Democrat, again, and you're a Christian woman, because everything that I've mentioned, LGBTQ, and I'm not criticizing the LGBTQ community because there's some nice people in that community. What I am saying is the belief system that is stated in that Bible, when you vote Democrat, you're voting for the homosexuality. You're voting for the fornication. Because a number of Christian women, again, they're indoctrinated by this feminism. You're voting for the upside down culture, the dysfunction. And at the end of the day, you carry your dysfunction into that church and you leave dysfunctional because you don't want to deal with the truth. And again, I'm talking about women all across the board, because African Americans are more religious, but a number of white women out there, they practice their witchcraft as well, because I've seen some white women when it comes to online dating. Again, they're practicing paganism, Wiccanism, and that's a religion. Again, religion is dangerous if you don't understand anything about that religion. And if you look at Christianity, Christianity gives you hope, but at the end of the day, it doesn't teach you anything about the real world. Now, you can incorporate it into the real world if you actually practice the principles, but again, many women don't practice the principles. They just go along to get along, and they're taking their money and they're going into these churches, particularly the African American churches, and they are spending their money on these pastors, but they can't even spend money on a date. They can't even take their man out. They still expect their man to wine and dine them, but they can spend money on that man who's preaching them some bullshit church that they believe. And they'll come back again next Sunday. They'll come back for choir practice. They'll come back for Bible study, no matter what. Guys, when it comes to these Christian women, many of these Christian women are hypocrites. They don't believe in anything but themselves. And when it comes to being independent, they don't believe in sharing. But they want to tell you the rules about having sex when a number of them are having sex within the congregation. Again, the congregation is not just full of whores, it's also full of homosexual men. But if you look at the church, I'm going to tell you this. It's no difference between the church and the club, because the church is a heck of a lot different today than it was when I grew up. Again, the person that is disrespecting women, particularly black women, more than anybody besides that white man when it comes to black women, is that black pastor. But you don't see any of these guys, these hoteps, these B1s, going after that black pastor. Why? Because these B1s and these hoteps, they worship black women. Therefore, if they go after the black pastor, they're going after black women. So at the end of the day, the buffer between the red pill and the MGTOW guys is the hoteps and the B1s and the simps. And these are the men who give African American women and other women a pass on their dysfunction. But these are also men who are also sleeping with some of these Christian women as well. Again, it's not hard to get a Christian woman. You just show up in a nice car, nice suit, you'll get a Christian woman. And once you get that Christian woman, you've already exposed her right there. Now you're going to have some that want to suck you dry by using that religion against you when you want some sex from her. But at the end of the day, don't buy into it. You think about this. Most Christian women are hypocrites. Most Christian women do not believe in God. They believe in that pastor. They believe in feminism, LGBTQ. They believe in disrespecting their husbands. They don't believe in family. They believe in abortion as well. Because if you vote Democrat, you believe in abortion. But at the end of the day, I'm going to tell you this. There's no difference between the club and the church. And that's my commentary for this edition of the 401 Talk Zone radio show right here on YouTube. If you like what I just presented, please comment, share, and subscribe. Also, comment, share, and subscribe on my new channel, The Mind of STEM. On that channel, I'm giving you a daily dose of science, technology, engineering, and math. Also, you can catch me on Blog Talk Radio every weekend. Right now, I'm doing the Machiavellian maxims. And if you don't know where any of my videos or Blog Talk Radio shows are, you can catch me on Facebook. You can also catch me on Twitter. Also, I do have a call-in number for my Blog Talk Radio show. It's 215-383-5785. I don't take calls too much because I like to give a quality show. And at the end of the day, again, be a man. Don't let anybody define you about being a man. Because at the end of the day, you need to know who you are. So be blessed for what you have. Don't worry about what you don't have. Always know that the sun rises in the east and sets in the west. Thank you for listening. That concludes this video right here on the 401 Talk Zone radio show. And I just want to say to all of you, you have a wonderful and blessed evening. Till next time, my name is Leon Jones. God bless you. I'm out.